Hi everyone, my name is Kaylee, and today we're having another wonderful episode of Hannon Inside Out. Today we'll be speaking with Elisa, who is the Reference and Instructions Librarian for Education. Hi Elisa, how are you doing today?
Kaylee, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well as well. So let's just get started with the questions. Let's start with the classic.
Okay.
When when you tell people you work at the library, what is their typical reaction?
Well, it depends who I tell. Usually if it's someone on campus, they're happy. They like the library. If it's somebody outside of work or I don't know, at a party, whatever, people just kind of go, oh, that's cool. They seem to be more surprised. I used to be the library instruction coordinator. And so when I tell people my title, they would be surprised. Oh, you teach library instruction? Do students need to be taught how to use the library? And so I would kind of explain that, yes, we do teach in an e-classroom. And it's not just, well, we teach students how to find and critically evaluate sources for their research papers or projects. But we just don't teach about library databases and our archives and special collections. We also, anything that students find on the internet, it could be fake news, misinformation, how to use Google Scholar. I taught a workshop on gender bias and Wikipedia, and we've prepared students for Wikipedia edit-a-thons. And so then they kind of go, oh, okay, I get it now.
So you kind of touched on this question already, but could you tell us a little bit about your job at the library?
Oh, sure. Well, I guess my official title is Reference and Instruction Librarian for Education. So I'm in a department with other reference and instruction librarians. I just happen to be the liaison to the School of Education, and they have 3 different departments that I work with. So like all reference and instruction librarians, I work at the information desk, which at some places it's called the research or the reference desk. I also do chat. So I have shifts where I answer questions from students online in chat. And then once a week, I do virtual reference, which is part of our consortium with other colleges and universities, other Jesuit universities and colleges. And so for 1 hour a week, I don't know, 7 to 8 p.m. at night on Tuesdays, I answer questions from students at other Jesuit universities and colleges. So it's kind of fun to see what their website's like, what databases they have, and I help them with the resources at their university or college. I also do research consultation, so students can schedule an appointment and I'll do a one-on-one. Nowadays it's on Zoom. So I schedule a 60-minute block. Yeah, that's a really long
Yeah.
60-minute block, and it could be 15 minutes, 30 minutes. A lot of them do go to 60 minutes. And I help students one-on-one with their research paper, capstone, dissertation, whatever they need help with. So let's see, that was desk, chat, VR. Oh, and I also do library instruction. So like all librarians, I teach rhetorical arts, and we're all generalists, but I also happen to specialize in education. So I do all the library instruction for the School of Education. And it's mostly graduate students. And then also I'm the liaison to the rhetorical arts program. So I liaison with the rhetorical arts instructors, and we teach about 85 to 90 rhetorical arts classes a year, and all the reference and instruction librarians teach those classes.
Sounds like you have a lot of work on your plate.
Yeah.
So if a student wanted to book a research consultation with you, how would they go about doing that?
Well, if they know me, like I teach education classes, sometimes they'll email me, but I usually prefer them to our Get Help page. So if you go to the library website, there's a button that says Get Help. And if you click on that, it'll give you the chat box, which is 24/7, and also other links. But the main link you want to click on is Research Consultations. And once you click on that, you could either choose a librarian or book them, or you can book the first available librarian. So like I said, we're all generalists, but if you see our pictures and our names, it says what we specialize in. So if you want the business librarian, you can choose the business librarian. If you want the education librarian, choose me or whoever is available first.
Nice. I'm sure that's a really helpful resource for a lot of people.
Yeah, it is.
And I know I've used it once.
Oh, good. Yeah, I met with you once.
Yeah. So we're gonna travel back in time a little bit, but how did you first become a librarian?
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
I was undeclared for as long as I could be. Then I had to choose a major and I chose political science. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. I thought maybe I would be a teacher. So I did graduate. I earned my teaching credential and I taught middle school history. And I did that for about 4.5 years. And I felt like I wanted to do something different.
Mm.
While I was a teacher, I did take my classes to the library. I worked at a middle school that had a school librarian. I went to a school district that didn't have school librarians in elementary and middle school. So I was fortunate to work with a middle school librarian, and I would bring my classes. She would do library instruction, they would do research. I spoke to her, and I thought, maybe I might want to become a high school or middle school librarian. But then I went to UCLA and I ended up interning here at LMU. And I thought, I really like the 18 and up group. I like working with adults and I missed working with adults when I taught middle school. So I never, I interned here, and then when a job opening opened up, I applied and I've been here for over 20 years.
Well, we're happy to have you here.
Oh, thank you.
So jumping back to the future. So I mean not the future, the present. What are LibGuides and who can use them?
Well, LibGuides are just another word for online research guides. So we librarians, we create them, we curate them, and we put what we think are the best resources for each major or discipline. So we have a LibGuide for every major on campus or every discipline. So if you're an education major, there's an education LibGuide. I made it, I curated it, and it's just a really good place to get started with your research.
Nice. How did you adapt your work to the online environment?
Well, like everyone else, I learned how to use Zoom.
Mhm.
And it took a little practice. So we learned how to use Zoom. I learned how to do breakout rooms. Not only did we have to do library instruction online using Zoom, but we wanted to make it more interactive. So that's why we learned how to use breakout rooms. I learned how to use Google Jamboards, and I used that as my virtual whiteboard
Mm.
uh, when I taught classes. I've always used Google Docs and Google Spreadsheets, so I just continued to use that. We try to use polling, ask questions in chat. So yeah, it's just a lot of, learning how to teach online. But everything we did before COVID, before the pandemic, we still do it now. So all our research consultations, all our chat, it's all online. The only thing that's changed is we don't physically teach in the e-classroom, and we're not physically sitting at a desk in the library building waiting for questions. We are online waiting for questions, and we're teaching online.
Has it been challenging transitioning over to the e-classrooms?
Um, yeah, it was a little bit challenging, going online. Learning how to use Zoom, how to do breakout rooms. We had to practice a lot within ourselves in my department. The chat we've always done, virtual research consultations. That was a little different. I guess before I would do in-person research consultations, and now they're all online. But I like the online consultations better. There's no interruptions. It's just me and the student, and I schedule a whole 60-minute block, and we use it or we don't, but they leave with the Google Doc with some databases, keywords, subject headings, and some articles or ebooks. So they leave the research consultation with some strategies, some ideas, and then some actual articles and resources. So that's kind of nice.
Really helpful, especially during final seasons when you might have put off some work and you need to get started quickly. So what adaptations do you think are here to stay from the virtual learning environments?
Oh, wow. I guess I talked about that. I think the virtual research consultations, it'll be interesting to see if it stays that way or if I get more in person. I mean, part of it is I became the education liaison. It's been a little over a year. So my research consultations have really increased. And then the other thing is we use Microsoft Bookings for our research consultations. So it knows my Outlook calendar when I'm free. So students can just go online and see when I'm free and pick a date, and they get an email, I get an email, it's on both of our calendars. It's really easy and convenient. And so I've just had so many more research consultations. Chat has always been there and it will continue. I feel like we get meatier research questions on chat. When I was in person at the desk, it was a lot of how do you print, how do you fax, how do you scan, where's this, help me find this book. Sometimes I would have meaty research questions, but I don't know, it's just interesting what you offer on demand and what we're going to offer by appointment. Because it just seems that's something that we're going to continue to talk about in the future, I think. Because we've got the chat on demand and then we've got the consultation by appointment, and they're both getting heavily used.
It'll be
and then
really
library instruction. I might continue to teach online because the School of Education has a lot of graduate programs, and a lot of their programs have moved online, or they're going to move online, or they're going to be hybrid forever. So I'll be doing both, teaching in person and online in the future.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how everything changes after all of this.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting.
So that wraps up all of our questions. Do you have any concluding statements that you want to make?
No, it's basically what we say in orientation. We're helpful, friendly librarians. Don't be shy, ask for help. I noticed some students prefer chat and some like the research consultation, whatever. And then we have a lot of on-demand videos. We have LibGuides. So basically we help students 24/7. So we always have something available to help you. And if you need help, reach out. Go to our Get Help page, and we have all kinds of options. I guess, yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you for that message, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay, it was nice talking to you, Kaylee.
It was really nice talking to you as well.
All right.
And
Aloha. How's Hawaii?
It's hot.
Oh, it's gloomy in California right now.
It's weather. What is weather?
Yeah. All righty.
Thank you to everyone watching us today, and we'll see you folks later. Bye-bye.
All righty. Bye.